Hello and welcome to episode 10 of TBC The Board Crew. I'm your host today, Tony, here with...
Ben.
Whoa, Ben's here. Daniel is also here. I'm not used to Tony introducing it. I'm so used to Ben's dulcet tones coming through. And now we've got even dulceter tones and a British accent coming along with it. We've really delved into the European market, haven't we?
All right, yeah, we did.
Moving on.
We change it.
To be fair, he is sitting here with a cuppa.
Yeah. Very... That is very true. Yeah, you caught me.
The Boston Tea Party must have been just like you just fuming up thinking about that.
So disappointed when all that tea got wasted. Anyway,
The world's biggest tea, well, some might say.
Anyway, all right, we're going to talk about 3 awesome games today. Today we're going to be talking about Fuse.
Inside Job.
And Sprawlopolis.
All right, here we go.
Okay, so first game we're going to talk about is Inside Job. Daniel and I and Dave and Bob got to play this at PlayCon. So shout out to PlayCon. That was excellent. We had a lot of fun.
Great time, yeah.
It was
A lot
great.
of fun.
Lucky buggers.
Yeah, you had to work.
I really wanted to go.
I ditched my responsibilities that day.
Yeah.
All the cool kids went.
Yeah. Rest of us slaving away trying to, earn some money to buy more games, but no.
So one of the games that we played, and in fact the game that I think we played the most times at PlayCon was Inside Job.
Oh, definitely, by far. We only ever played everything else once, maybe twice. Inside Job about 9-fold, or 10-fold actually. Yeah.
And we got to play with one of our listeners, Monica. Shout out to Monica.
Yeah, man.
Woo.
Love your work.
Yeah, it was great.
I didn't like when you beat me in Inside Job like 4 times in a row, though. So.
Well
yeah,
done,
actually, Monica,
well
you're
done.
too good at this game. You can't play it again.
Yeah.
You're welcome at our table anytime.
Yeah. Let's talk about what Inside Job is. So Inside Job is designed by Tanner Simmons and published by Cosmos Gaming. And it's a mostly cooperative trick-taking game. So if you've played The Crew, which is an all-cooperative trick-taking game, or basically any other trick-taking game where it's not cooperative, apart from maybe teams, Inside Job is where you're all on the same team except for one jerk who is the insider, who's trying to ruin you, and you don't know who that is, so you actually spend a lot of the game being jerks to each other.
No. Let me elaborate on what our experience was. All of you thought I was the insider every single time, but I'll allow Ben to describe what the insider was.
I feel like there was a lot of shade thrown on me a number of times. Look, the reason that it is because each time whoever is essentially the dealer for that round will draw 2 missions. They get to choose one of those 2 missions that the whole table has to achieve. So it might be the last card has to be the highest, or the second card has to be the same color as the 4th card played. Maybe it's everyone's numbers have to go in ascending order, or all cards have to be the same color. So it's something that will follow trick-taking rules. It is basic trick-taking rules in the sense that you have to follow suit if you can, with one exception that I'll get back to in a second. And there's a trump. Whatever mission you choose will also say which of the suits are trumps. Can't quite remember what suits there are. There's like hats, microphones, maybe.
Yeah, I'm surprised
coats.
you remembered those. I forgot all of them. Just the
they're colours.
Yeah.
They're basically colours. There's 4 colours, and so it's going to be one of those.
Think of a spy object. It's pretty much that.
Yeah, it's one of those. Like a camera is maybe one of the suits or something. Someone's
brief.
laughing at us because these are completely wrong. I don't know.
One of them was
spyglass.
It was a pyramid.
One of them was definitely hats. But anyway,
Really spy tech there.
yeah.
Hats, sun safe.
Yeah. So, like, if I play the 2 of hats or 2 yellow or something, and then if Tony's next, he has to play yellow if he has any. If he doesn't, he can play off suit. And one of the suits will be a trump, which he could trump, which might mean he'll win. Now, often the mission doesn't care about who wins, but everyone at the table really does, because whoever wins gains a piece of intel or a little briefcase token. And depending on the number of players, if the insider ever wins the number of intel, they instantly win, and everyone else loses.
Oh.
Also, the rest of the people win if they complete a certain number of missions. In the number of players we were playing with, I think there was 10 or 9 tricks that we were doing. We got 10 cards, but you only played 9 of them.
Yeah.
I think it was.
I think that sounds right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just going to...
Something like that. Maybe it was 7. That changes the number of players as well, and the number of missions that you have to win. So let's say you're playing 9 hands out of 10 cards. If you're the good guys, you have to win 7 missions. If you win 7 missions, then you win instantly. But the insider, if they win, say, 4 of those briefcases, then they win instantly. And so it ends up with this situation where even when you're a good guy, you know you're good. You're trying to convince everyone else you're good. And so the best way to win the mission is for you to win the trick. But that looks dodgy because everyone's like, well, why did you just win that trick though? But also, you're happy to win the trick because you know you're good. So you're like, well, if the briefcase is going to anyone, it can come to me. Right. So the table starts like accusing everyone every time someone wins a trick. But of course, someone has to win every trick. And sometimes, even when you're a good guy, you've got to win a few too many tricks and looks good. And so everyone's sort of accusing you of doing the wrong thing.
It's cool to be bad, guys.
At the same token, sometimes you're a good person and you cannot achieve the mission based on the cards that you've got. You're like, I can't play anything lower than that. And my mission was I had to play the lowest card. Or, I just had to play lower than Tony's card. Whatever it is, I can't do it. I've got to throw out. Often, if you lose a mission, you really don't want to win the trick by losing that mission because that looks sus as.
Right, yeah.
But the insider also has another powerful advantage. They do not have to follow suit.
Woo!
Now,
Right.
Yeah.
Powerful.
It's very powerful because no one can see your hand. So you can offsuit when technically you don't have to offsuit. But you can tell the table, like, I'm really sorry, guys, I don't have any greens. So I've just got to play, like, this pink.
Yeah, they got, like, 4 greens in their hand.
Yeah. Now, if people can remember that you played a green, then suddenly they can figure out you're the insider. But even if the table is 100% convinced you're the insider, they don't win. They've then just got to stop you winning tricks. And so you could be outed as the insider and you're like, well, fine, I'm just going to play against you guys and see if I can win every trick now and get my intel tokens. If at the end of the game, neither side has achieved their objective, so the good guys haven't achieved a number of missions, the insider hasn't collected a number of tricks, then there's a vote. And whoever gets the most votes has to reveal their role. If it's the insider, the agents, the good guys win. If it's not, if one of the agents, then, the insider wins. And we actually had quite a number of games that went down to that last vote bit.
Definitely.
There was a couple of ones where the insider cleaned up. There was very few where the agents managed to get enough missions.
Did we ever win? I don't think we ever won. Maybe once or twice at most.
Yeah, it felt really hard for the agents to make their number of missions.
Yeah.
A lot of times they managed to just stop the insider getting enough. And then the insider was usually picked, but not always.
As in before the game?
At the end of the game.
Oh, right.
Like, yeah. If the insider didn't get enough tricks, there was a number of times like where I think I was the insider 3 times in a row at one point.
Yeah.
And, people had pretty much picked me as the insider. I didn't say it publicly, but I just kept winning tricks. And they're like, well, he's clearly the insider now. I'm like, I'm just helping us. But they couldn't stop me. So that was great.
Yeah.
I'm just helping you lose.
Yeah, suckers. There's also like advanced roles where you can play. Like there's like a bugged agent that
oh, that's right.
Had to win a certain number of tricks. And if they could win so many tricks, then they just won for the good guys. But of course that looks really sus when like one of the good people is like, oh, don't worry, I'm just winning these tricks. It's for everybody. And then everyone starts piling on trying to stop them. Monica was that a couple of times,
yeah, definitely.
I think.
Yeah.
And we all like did not trust her at all. Like we're like, we've got to stop Monica. One time she made it. The other time she let the insider win because we were all piling on Monica. And we're like, oh yeah, like I think it was Dave at that point. We're like, oh yeah, so Dave, you can take that trick. Just stop Monica from getting them.
I like how you said that, like, Monica let the insider win when she was fighting tooth and nail to not let them win. And you guys are like...
She opened the door for him.
Yeah, that's it. If she had played normally, we would have been fine.
And wasn't there another, I think it was the confidential or the classified abilities that are thrown in there just to make it even more difficult?
Yeah, the risky agent,
That's
I think
risky
it was.
agent,
and then you had risky missions that are like super hard to do. You had to like bet your intel tokens to go up against them, which meant if the insider won, they got extra intel. but that agent had extra special abilities. So there was quite a number of optional roles that we didn't end up playing with. There was including ones that weren't on either team, and they're sort of like playing the third team, and off they go. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Each round was pretty quick because you're only playing like maybe 9 rounds, which is one card each. Super fast, lots of laughs.
Yeah.
Nothing like just accusing each other of like, why did you win that trick? Like, you're so evil. Yeah. Clearly, this is it.
Nothing brings friends together more than blaming each other and accusing each other and then shooting each other at the end of the game.
Yeah. So I would highly recommend Inside Job. If you like trick-taking, I reckon go for it. If you like social deduction, you might be in for this. But I actually felt like it was more trick-taking than social deduction. I mean, there was a social deduction element, but basically you really want to just play your tricks well.
It got to a point, maybe it's just because I know you guys now, but there was a point where I could tell when one of you was the insider just based on facial cues and things like that. I'm like, all right, well, I've deduced it just because I know when Dave's very quiet, he's obviously the insider and he hasn't said anything in about 10 minutes. But otherwise, I really do think it's just the trick-taking game. And you feel so disappointed when you have the right cards and someone else just throws a spanner in the works and you don't know if it's because, like you mentioned, if they genuinely just cannot play a card or they are the insider and they're just throwing you off or they're losing on purpose. I think it is more of a trick-taking game than a deduction game. It feels a bit like a tighter, faster version of the Crew.
Yeah.
Very fast.
Yeah, it's super fast. And it's just the fact that even if you solve the social deduction puzzle, you've still got to win the trick-taking game. And so, even if you can name every agent at the table and work out who the insider is, you've still then got to play a really aggressive trick-taking game with that insider. So, yeah, I really liked it. Thumbs up from me.
I liked it. I would like to be the insider just once in the 9 games we played. I was never the insider, and I got accused probably the most just because I had the worst hands that everyone was playing pinks, and I just did not have a pink card. And the second I played green, Daniel's the insider. I'm like, guys, I can't explain to you enough that I'm pleading with you, please. I'm asking for your help.
to be fair, you got the taste of what it feels like to be accused of an insider a number of times.
Yeah, that's true. And then the tables turned. The second, the last 5 or 6 games, you were the victim. You were in the crosshairs every time. Well, obviously it's Ben. And then we're just getting emotional at this point. It's just, Ben was the insider last time. Surely it can't be him again. No, it was him 4 more times in a row.
Meanwhile, Monica's just winning.
Yeah, it's just killing it.
So just watching all the guys like, what the hell are you doing? I'm just going to keep winning.
This game's easy, guys.
It sounds like one you spoke about previously. Was it Skyfall?
Oh, yeah.
That just as you were explaining it, where you have that one who's not an agent, and you got to try and work out who that is, that more social deduction side of it.
Yeah, I mean, there is only one, it's one against many, which is similar to Spyfall and stuff. The difference with Spyfall is in this one, the insider, doesn't literally have all the cards because they only have their hand, but they're the one that can break the rules, and they're the one that knows what's going on, whereas the poor agents are a bit left in the dark. Spyfall's that interesting twist where usually it's the bad guys that have all the info and it's the good guys scrambling around, whereas in Spyfall, all the good guys have all of the picture and it's the poor bad guys just scrambling around trying to not get found. Whereas Inside Job, the insider's like, I don't have to follow tricks, and maybe you won't remember that I didn't play a blue on that hand. Or in the case when I was the insider, I had 1 or 2 blues, but I was like, I just won't play any of these, and hopefully that'll allow me to win my thing. Or I'll play a blue on the last round when I'm going to win anyway. And so you can all be like, he's the insider, with me winning. So that's another tricky bit, because if you know who the insider is and you think they're out of a suit, you might say, well, let's make trumps this suit. But it's so much harder to figure out what the insider does and doesn't have, because have they been actually following the rules, or have they just been pretending that they're following the rules?
Yeah, sounds like a really fun game.
Yeah, it's great. I would highly recommend Inside Job.
So So I went to Newcastle not too long ago, and Newcastle, as you know, is known for three things. One, Silverchair, and the
I
other...
love Silverchair.
and the other two you can make up on your own. So
I was so curious. I'm like, what three things? Like coal mining.
I thought we were going to do steel production, but sure.
And another thing I enjoyed while I was there was as soon as I arrived, I literally typed into my phone, closest board game shops near me. I stayed in Warners Bay, went to a close board game shop, and I didn't bring anything with me. Needed something to play in the motel. Walked in. First game I saw was this game called Sprawlopolis. And I picked it up, had a look at it. I'd never do this. I never go into a board game shop and just look at something and go, yep, I'll just take it. I did with this. Usually I'm on Board Game Geek or Googling it or asking my friends, have you played this? Messaging Ben, have you played this? Is this good? No. Okay, I'll put it back. But this one...
I mean, theoretically, sometime I could be wrong. It hasn't happened yet, but I could be.
Sprawlopolis was the game that came to me in a dream and also in my hand in the shops in Newcastle, known for Silverchair and two other things that you can decide. But it is a lovely game. It is so great because the setup takes you about 4 seconds. Here's the entire setup, right? So the entire contents of this box I've bought for me, about $20, I'd say. It's about how many cards? 36 cards in here. That's including expansions. So around 15 odd cards for the core game. What you do is you draw 3 cards. You put a card in the middle. And then you draw another 3 cards and put them on the table upside down. That's the setup. It took me longer to say it than to do it. That's how fast the setup is. So in Sprawlopolis, you are... basically, a construction crew. You're a new engineer. Not sure what happened. This Sprawlopolis is growing. You're in charge of it. And the last team of planners, they just said, nah, we're not doing this. I don't know what they did. They just got halfway through and said, you know what? Someone else can take it. The nearest, warmest body can do it. Do you have a degree in engineering? No. Too bad. You're now the new engineer of a thriving civic centre in its city. So what you do is I'm going to actually just... illustrate some points, just show you how easy it is. I've got all
illustration on a podcast.
Yeah, if you can just keep an eye on what I'm doing right now.
Enter your mind's eye
on this
watching
visual medium.
I've got shuffle these cards.
I've got all the entire contents in my palm. It is a micro game by every nature and definition of the term. It is so small. It's 15 cards. I could play a game while I'm talking to you. That's how easy it is. I've got a game. I've got a card on the table. I've got 3, 2, 1, and then I've got the rest in my hand. So there we go.
Dan is literally playing.
I'm literally playing this just to illustrate a point that you can't see. So how it works is the 3 cards that you put up in front of you upside down, they all have a number, a numerical value. Add up those 3 numbers and you have the total score that you have to beat. So right now I've got 3, 8, and 13. Quick maths, Tony. What's that?
24.
So 24 is the number I have to beat. How I try and accumulate those points is every condition has ways that you can accumulate points. So, for example, this one card that says every park in your city, you get 1 point, but if you have industrial blocks in your city, you lose 3 points. Things like that. You're playing your cards, overlaying them on top of each other, you're moving them around, and you are trying to accumulate as many points as possible. There are commercial lots, industrial lots, residential lots, and parks. Those are the 4 squares you'll see on every single card. Place one down. Cool. You've also got roads on all of them as well. You place another one down, you place it over or next to, adjacent, essentially anywhere, and you're trying to connect all these lots to make a city. Like I said, I'm not the engineer. I'm just placing things everywhere. And you're trying to connect these roads. You're trying to make the parks close to the parks and close to the residential areas so kids can go over to the park and play and have a whole lot of fun. There are other conditions, like the one I'm reading in front of me right now that says you get 3 points if there's a road that begins at one park and ends at a different park. So literally, if you have a park and there's roads that connect it and you can drive there, 3 points. If you do heaps of those, 3 points. Now, because there are 3 kinds of conditions, you kind of only want to focus on 1 or 2 of them. Maybe 2 of them at most. 3 of them would be hard. So I'd say, all right, I'm going to try and make a lot of park blocks, because every time I put a park block in my city, I get 1 point. Try not to do many industrial blocks because it's 3. So You can overlap them, Tony. Look at that.
Wow, we were.
You can describe to our audio listeners what I've just done. Look at that.
Dan had taken 2 cards and put one halfway over the other. And so
right.
he has actually covered one of the parks he was trying to save with an
That's right.
industrial lot.
Well, the other beauty is that you can rotate them. You can never have them vertical. You can only have them horizontal. So if I wanted to put this park next to this park on the residential lot, put it right there. You've got 2 parks next to each other. But I'm also trying to build roads towards them. And there lies basically the complexity of this game, Sprawlopolis. It sounds very complicated listening to it on a podcast. It's incredibly simple. One of the simplest games I've ever learned. So you learn it in about 2 minutes. It's probably best to be played as a solo player, but you can play it with more people. More expansions, you can play it with up to 4 people. But when it's 2-player, when it's cooperative, it kind of feels like you're playing like Super Mario Brothers on your Super Nintendo and you're just sharing the controller with your friend. You're just passing the cards to them. They put a card down. They give the cards back to you. You put a card down. And you're building the same city. Doesn't feel as intuitive as, I don't know any other games to give an example for, but super simple. You can set it up in a few seconds, like I've said. It's very cheap. A great motel game. So it did me wonders. When my wife was asleep, I was like, great, I'm going to build a city. So I built about 3 cities. Now, 24 was the score I had to get. I've counted up all my points. There are also other conditions that happen for every single game. And that is, you just count all the amounts of blocks or residential lots or industrial lots or commercial lots that you have that are connecting in one big bulk amount. You get like 1 point for each of those. And you lose points for every road you have. You'd think in a city,
What?
you want to have lots of roads. I know.
Because they're not connected? Or...
No, just roads in general. If you have a road, you lose a point.
It sounds like a very European-style city then. I mean,
Should be bike lanes.
any
Should
North
all be
American
bike lanes.
listeners are probably like, but roads are great. In Australia...
I'm going to get my Dodge Ram.
Yeah. In Australia, we're like halfway between Europe and North America, I think.
Yeah,
Like
we can fit a Dodge Ram on our roads, but you're not parking comfortably.
No.
Yeah, pretty much. And if you go to like any stadium or something in Australia, you're not driving. You're going to take public transport.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And also, if you live in a city, aren't you just catching a taxi everywhere anyway?
Or a train.
Or a
train.
train.
Or
Or
bus.
tram.
I mean, where we live, there's not a lot of public transport.
No.
So we all have cars.
We
so-
need our roads. Don't take our roads. So we're negative points for roads. So obviously you try and connect them all to be one stretching road as much as possible. So if you had a road that was going vertically, you try and connect it to another one that's going vertically. Hopefully that also matches your vision of going green and getting a lot of parks in your city and getting rid of industrial lots. The only thing is you can't put them diagonally. They always have to be adjacent to each other. They can't be touching corners. They have to be adjacent. And you can overlap them. If you put a card down and you're just like, you know what, I regret putting that card down, you can just straight up just cover it with another one.
Right.
Very simple game. Like I said, sounds very complex. Also, I'm not explaining it very well, but it's a whole lot of fun. I would highly recommend it, especially if you're going to Newcastle, which we all know is known for how many things?
Known for 3 things.
Silverchair and the rest.
The others TBC.
The board crew.
Oh, there you go.
And Sprawlopolis, it is 1 to 4 players, takes about 15 to 20 minutes to play. It's by Button Shy Games. You can print and play it. It costs about $5 to get online. It's a very simple game to print out. You're just printing out 15 cards, and then you're ready to go. That's it.
But you've only played it solo?
I've only played it solo. I've played it 4 times. I've won twice.
Would you recommend playing it with someone else? But because the way you made that sounds like it would be good if you both had your own deck of hands.
Me personally, or the universal you?
No, I'm talking.
I mean,
Deke.
I
Deke
can't
personally.
imagine Daniel ever going, like, I want to play my solo game with more players.
Doesn't play well with others.
I'd definitely like to try it. Like, I have shared a controller with like friends playing Super Mario Brothers, and it worked out fine. But
No, you died. It's my turn.
yeah, exactly, because you're all on the same goal. Like, I don't know. I guess that's the whole point of a cooperative game. You are working towards the same goal. But I feel like if it's my city, I want to do it my way. If someone puts a card and ruins, like if I'm going for lots of parks and they're going for, no, I want to build lots of roads between commercial districts, I'm like, oh, maybe don't do that, because I've got a plan here. So obviously it involves a lot of communication, and it's really good. I really like it. Sprawlopolis by Button Shy Games.
So play solo, otherwise you become local government.
Basically. By force too. Like I said at the start of this, it's the closest, warmest body.
That's Sprawlopolis.
All right, the last game we are talking about today is Fuse, published by Renegade Games and designed by Kane Klenko. This is a game that takes no more than 10 minutes. Can take less if you beat it fast enough. I have not beaten this game.
Oh, really?
I didn't beat it, no. Well, I didn't play it solo, and I think I may have stuffed up a rule, but that's fine. So in this game, you are bomb defusal experts, and you get a bag of dice and a bunch of cards up to, I think it's 26 or 30 potentially on what you're playing. We did the training level, which you only get 18 cards to start with. And each of these cards have a different bomb that you need to defuse. And they'll have on there either numbers or colors or a combination of both, and you've got to fill the card completely to defuse the bomb. So you might get one card that says, have a red dice, then have a dice that says number 4, and then a yellow dice. And you get those, you pull dice out of the bag, roll them, put them onto your cards. Now, the thing with this game is, if you're playing with, say, it was the 3 of us, whoever's rolling dice or grabbing dice from the bag would only pick up 3 dice and roll them. And so then we all have to take 1 dice. And we have to quickly decide, oh, I'll take this one because I need it for that. Okay, cool. We all take, and then pass the bag along. Next person pulls 3, keep going. And then you're getting rid of.
And you don't have much time.
You have 10 minutes now, and it is stressful as hell, but it's awesome. It's fun. Like, I was so stressful. I was loving it. I played this, I think it was 4 or 5 times back to back. It was meant to be a little opening game. Yeah.
That's yeah, okay.
Yeah, like we did it as like a little opening game when I was playing with my mates. We were enjoying it so much. We're like, we want to beat this. We're like, let's keep going. We want to beat this. And yeah, we just could not do it because we.
So you weren't really bomb defusal experts in your case.
We were the demolition guys, more like.
Use them, blow it up.
Yeah,
I'll just trip over some cords.
One problem we kept having is we would pass the bag around to grab the dice out of, but then like I'd get the bag, pull 3 dice out, roll them, and just sit there holding the bag while we're discussing it, and then go, oh yeah, and then hand over the bag to the next person. And like, so we sort of just kept shooting ourselves in the foot because we became so focused on these dice. Yeah, you get different bombs on these different cards. Some of them you have to stack up as a pyramid. It shows like on the card generally what you need to do. Some of you need to make a tower. And if with those dice rolls, if you can't take a dice, or one or more dice can't get taken, you then re-roll that dice, and each person has to remove either the color dice that got rolled or a number that matches the dice. So you better hope that if it's a red one that was left behind and you've only got like yellow, whites, and blues, that it doesn't roll to a number of one of those, because otherwise that has to disappear. So you get knocked back for trying to defuse these bombs. There's an app that comes with this from Renegade Games, and it's a little 10-minute timer, and it talks to you as you're going, like, you have 5 minutes left, you have a minute left, hurry. And
very supportive.
Yeah,
you're gonna die.
It's great, yeah, pretty much. And like at the end of it, it goes and actually explodes if you fail, which I heard 5 times. Well, the closest we got was we all had our last bomb, and we just kept not getting quite the right roll. It was just such a bad set of cards, and we kept having to take dice off and then put them back. And yeah, it was stressful, but a lot of fun. Would highly recommend it. As I said, it plays in 10 minutes. No more, some less. But I've never experienced less.
I've experienced less. I've played Fuse a few times now. I think it's a great little 10-minute shot.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would play it back to back though. It's your heart's pumping at the end of those.
You're going
those
for
10 minutes. I don't know. Maybe it's when you win, you kind of like, oh well, we're done.
I think we were just like, we all play games enough. We should be able to beat the training level, and we just couldn't do. I don't know whether I stacked the deck wrong, and I had us technically set for a higher level, because it says like you need 18 cards, and then you put in like these other cards which causes issues for you. So if you turn it, like it'll be a card that won't be a bomb that you have in the middle to choose from. It'll be like the color blue, and so then you have to remove a blue off your blue dice off of one of your bombs that you're working on.
And
Everyone has two
some of the
they're
bombs are harder to defuse than other
Correct.
ones, or some of the cards rather.
Yeah.
I guess thematically they're not bombs; they're like components of the bomb that you're diffusing or something.
Sort
I'm
of,
not sure.
yeah. I mean, however you want to look at it, it's
Yeah.
you need to sort these cards out, and I guess it's like
Yeah.
cutting the different components of a bomb up, or I don't know. I'm not a bomb disposal expert, obviously. Do not call me if you've got a bomb in the place because it's going to explode. All right,
Look, even though I can beat this game, please don't call me if you've got a bomb in
call the police. All right, like don't be like, you know what, TBC's got me covered. Yeah, so lots of fun. As I said, everyone has 2 cards. You get a tableau in the middle that keeps refreshing until you're out of the deck. And if you beat like the cards that are in front of you and there's no more in the deck to pull out, you win. You can go with what they call the insane mode, which is you have to do all the deck and then all the cards in the middle, so there are no cards left behind at all for any of the bombs. If you do this solo, you're working, I think it's with 3 cards constantly, so it's like you're doing 3 people's work, which just sounds crazy. I will try it because Dig gave me a look like you're going to do that solo, right?
I did.
Which I will.
It's the solo code.
Yeah, that's it.
We have a certain nod.
It's like, oh, did you say there's a solo variant? You're doing it. Yeah.
Come on.
I don't know. I feel like Sprawlopolis is great solo because co-op doesn't add anything other than more time.
Yes.
Fuse, on the other hand, I like the co-op because it adds that stress of who's taking what die and the fact that you really all want all the dice to go. And so sometimes you're going to take a die that's maybe suboptimal because you're like, look, this could fit anything.
Yeah.
And you've got that one that I can only fit that one. But if I take that one, you've got nothing to take. So I'm going to take the one that can fit anything and fill the easier bit. Or maybe I'm going to take this one because then it completes my card and we can get another one. And that kind of having to negotiate that under time pressure.
Oh, that's what kills you.
While there's only however many dice in the middle and 2 of you are shouting about like, no, you need to take that one. While the 3rd or 4th person is just like, well, I'm just taking this one, guys, while you just have your little domestic.
Please hurry up. I have my hands on the 3 of the dice. And that's the thing. If you pull out more dice than you're supposed to, you can't, well, according to the rule, you can't just drop one back in. You need to drop them all and then go for the fresh 3 or 2 or 4. I mean, it plays 1 to 5 players on this thing. And it plays in 10 minutes. So,
what was it again?
And that's Fuse. It's heaps of fun. Nice little heart palpitation for 10 minutes between games. All right, well, that was 3 great games that we spoke about today. So we spoke about The Inside Job, Sprawlopolis, and Fuse. And it's great I get to ask Ben this question first. Ben, and Deke, obviously.
Oh, hello.
If you had the option to play any game after this, what would you play?
Gosh, I haven't played Sprawlopolis yet, and
You
Daniel keeps bringing ones of solo that I'm like, I might play that one, and then
Slowly converting you to a solo player.
I mean, I still haven't actually played any of them.
One of us.
Yeah, you'll learn the nod from our community.
Look, I think Inside Job, we were just laughing. It was so fun. It's all these games are quick, but I'd give it to Inside Job.
I only agree because I've played it, and I think it would be a hoot if all 3 of us played Inside Job. Because nothing excites me more than being accused of being an insider when I'm definitely not, and vice versa. It's an emotional roller coaster. When you are the insider, I have such a tell, and it's just being quiet, like Dave, one of our other guys. He's not in the podcast, but he plays with us quite frequently. It is a bit of a rush though when you do get to be the bad guy in these kind of games, and I'm just looking forward to one day maybe being the Inside Job insider.
If Monica's here though, then
she's
going to win.
Well, obviously, if Monica's here, you guys are playing Inside Job. I want to watch you guys play with Monica because I feel like it would be a real hoot of her just being like, "Yep, cool, just flying under the radar, going to beat you all again."
It doesn't matter what game you're playing, Monica's going to win.
Top gamer. I would play. I'll probably go with Inside Job. It sounds like a crap
winner.
ton of fun. Like I was so envious when you guys came back, and that's pretty much when I asked you guys how was it. How was Gen Con?
PlayCon.
PlayCon.
I
thank
mean,
you.
I wish we went to Gen Con, but
Gen Con. One day.
we're going to have to start a Patreon or something to get to Gen Con.
Yeah.
I'll go CanCon, you know. But when you guys came back, it was like, oh, how was it? And this was the only game you guys really spoke about a lot, with a lot of excitement. You know, you were like, oh, we played this, that. Inside Job was so good. And it's like, okay, like, couldn't wait to tell me about it. I'm like, all right, got to play this Inside Job game.
Yeah. And I played Blood in the Clock Tower for the first time, which was great. And I still think about Inside Job.
I really want to play Blood on the Clock Tower too.
Yeah.
We'll definitely talk about Blood on the Clock Tower for one of our episodes. I mean, it's sitting on my shelf there. It's a hard one to play in Bathurst, but it's great.
But we'll work it out. All right, cool. Well, thanks for joining us.
Bye.
See you later.
We'll get bored with you next time.
This has been The Board Crew. Thanks for listening. Join the conversation by rolling over to our socials and just search The Board Crew on Facebook.
So I have to get to 24, and is it 24?
It's 24. 16
It's
and 8.
25. It's 13, 8, and 3.
Yeah, which 3 and 13 is...
Oh, it's 24. Oh, no.
I mean, I should definitely keep this in, right?
Yeah. Don't delete this. Either way.
I'm the guy who works with numbers all day.